Welcome to First and Goal, your source for all things football. From the latest news to pop culture and sports cards, we've got you covered better than a lockdown corner on Third and Goal. Now, here are your hosts, Trey Thomas and the Bearded Grinch.
What's good, family? First and Goal Sportscast coming back at you. It's been a minute. We took a little time off for holidays, enjoying friends and family, but we are back at it in time for WildCard football. As always, Bearded Grinch alongside my man, Penny Cardaway.
Yes, sir.
Trey,
this is time to start the season. The season actually starts now, man.
Officially. If you ain't in, you ain't in.
Exactly.
This is it. How was your holiday?
It was good, man.
New Year?
Staying busy, playing Santa, taxi, Uber with the kids and things like that, man. It's just, I'm glad it's all over with.
I feel you.
I feel like the Grinch.
It's time to get down to nitty gritty now.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So we're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to jump right into it. This is WildCard Weekend. We're going to break down the games. We're going to give you our perspective, and we're going to see if we can prognosticate some winners here in the Super Bowl. So let's just jump right in. And we start on Saturday. Your boys, Bang Bang Niner Gang.
Bang Bang Niner Gang. We
Seattle Seahawks coming in town. You got, conference rivalry, division rivalry.
Just think about this, man. Think about how much has changed with both of our teams since the last time we were live talking about sports.
Right.
It's crazy.
Did you think it'd be Brock Purdy leading your boys?
I mean, I didn't think that Brock Purdy was even going to make the roster when it came into camp, right? I thought it was going to be Jimmy G and Trey Lance, but somehow, man, Mr. Irrelevant is relevant now.
He's been playing well.
He's been going crazy.
That's just it. You've got game managers, and then you've got guys who can come in and just kind of transform the game, and he has stepped right in. You've got Brandon Ayuk, who has turned it on. Christian McCaffrey, probably going to be one of the best in-season acquisitions of any team when all said and done. We look back on it. I mean, they are rolling right now.
If they win, that's going to be the best trade in NFL history, probably.
It's going to be well up there.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how Seattle can come in to San Fran and take this game. I just don't think they've got the firepower for it. Mm-hmm. I think San Fran's probably one of the most complete teams in the playoffs right now. When you look at the offensive and defensive side of the ball, obviously you've got potential defensive player of the year. Nick Bosa's been just tearing it up. Mm-hmm. Seattle's coming in with Geno. He could do okay.
Yeah. Lockett's
really not turning anything and setting world on fire. DK Metcalf really hasn't been producing. Kenneth Walker's kind of the one-man band there in Seattle. San Francisco if they can do one thing, they can shut down the run game.
Yep.
And I think they're going to be able to do it. I think the offense is going to stay hot. I've got San Fran taking this one easy. I'm going to take probably San Fran by at least 10 in this game.
I like it. I'm right there with you. I think the energy in Levi Stadium is going to be out of this world. Yeah. I don't know if people remember, but we had to go on the road last year.
Right.
So to have a home game against a division rival and the Seahawks, I mean, you're going to see people flying around all over the place, man. I think it's going to be a beat down. I'm not going to say 20 or anything like that, but I think it should be a double-digit win for sure.
Yeah, I see that, no doubt. Now, following that up at 8:15 on Saturday, we've got, which to me is probably one of the most intriguing games of the weekend. Really, it's going to be splitting hairs here. You've got the Chargers heading into Jacksonville, Duval County, representing Trevor Lawrence, who a lot of people had written off and just said, he's just going to be that bust that they were expecting, and he has played.
Which is crazy to me. I mean,
phenomenal.
It's 1 year, you know what I mean? Like, we get so caught up in you have to show out now and be that Patrick Mahomes or that Tom Brady that just lit it up early on in their career that we forget that it takes a couple years or some time with the right coach, the right situation to make sure that you can put your best foot forward,
Yeah, but we live in that world of what have you done for me lately, and I want it right now.
Yep.
It's a Willy Wonka Veruca Salt. I want it now
right
type
now.
mentality.
Yep.
So, but listen, he's proved to do it. Justin Herbert, he's been in, the talk of the last few years. Is he going to be that guy, that stat machine, that Dan Marino that can play well, be consistent enough, get your team in the playoffs, and then never quite get over that hump and get it done? Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a big test for him to be able to go into Jacksonville. Jacksonville's defense is playing really, really well at a high level right now.
And they're young, too. They fly around.
They're young. They fly around. The offense has been able to pull some magic out of some players that some teams have written off. You got Evan Ingram down there, and he has played at a really high level. He seems to be hitting it off with Trevor Lawrence. I think it's going to be by a slim margin, but I'm going to take home field advantage in this one. So I'm going to take Jacksonville by 3 for that home field advantage. I think it's tight, it's splitting hairs, but I'd like to see Jacksonville come away with a win here.
I like it. I think it's going to come down. This might be a game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game first. It might be in the high 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
So I think both of these guys are going to put up points. I'm going to take Jacksonville as well. The injury to Mike Williams, him not being able to play, I think that's going to be a major blow to the Chargers. Josh Palmer is more than capable to get the job done, along with Keenan Allen. But if it's one of those things where it comes down late in the game and the Chargers have the ball last, I think Herbert's going to win.
He could. He's got that drive in him. He's got the ability to do that. I think that the key for Jacksonville is going to be take advantage of the opportunities in the pass game when you can. It's going to be a ground and
turn the ball over.
That's going to be – you're going to see that theme going in a lot of these games in this week, and we're going to talk about that. Turnover is going to be the difference in some of these games that could be a little bit closer, and I think this is one that could turn out. But Jacksonville by 3, we'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be a good one on Saturday night.
ETN, like you said, Evan Ingram, just Trevor Lawrence just has a crazy opportunity to grow up in front of everybody's eyes this weekend. And I think Herbert's one of the golden boys in the NFL. If he can beat him,
he is. You start talking about shelf life on some of these quarterbacks. No, listen, Herbert's young. I'm not saying he's done.
Yeah.
But every year that progresses where you don't make a playoff run and you don't get there, that window sort of closes down. Most people win their Super Bowl within their first 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it's harder for them to get to the dance because teams are just changing. You get acclimated into the system and people start learning your styles and your techniques. So this is a proving ground right now in these couple of years for all these quarterbacks. I mean, Mahomes has already solidified himself, but Allen and Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, who's not even going to be playing. But this is that window for them that's really important. So we'll see how they come out. Then we flip over to Sunday. Sunday, to me, starts off a little bit predictable, right? We've got the Dolphins heading into Buffalo, play the Buffalo Bills. That environment alone is just intimidating to play in if you're any team, let alone a warm weather team coming to the cold weather of Buffalo. You've got Buffalo riding really, really high, with all that's been going on there. And, Hamlin, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in attendance at the game now that he's out of the hospital. That's going to just provide this emotional boost.
Over or under, Hamlin is going to be in a press box this game.
He's going to be somewhere in there. Right. If not, he's going to be on a pregame video to hype him up. He's going to be doing something. He's definitely going to be in the presence. And I think just that emotional lift, you didn't need that, but it's going to be I see this could be a potential blowout in the making. You've got Tua, who's not going to be playing. Josh Allen with, the skill that he has on that side of the ball. Stephon Diggs is, Dawson Knox has been stepping up as of late. And if their defense can play the way that they need to, I think this could get away from Miami pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an absolute massacre, man. I mean, you got some of these talented teams playing at home in the first game of the playoffs. I mean, the crowd is going to be electric. I mean, it's going to be tough for these guys coming on the road to hear signals, hot routes, audibles, and just different things like that. I think Buffalo is going to absolutely destroy Miami this game.
Yeah. And then we followed up in the midday game. We got Giants heading to Minnesota.
This one right here is
this is another one. This is a coin flip game for me. It just really depends. Do I fully trust Daniel Jones to lead that offense? He's played well.
Yeah.
I think Saquon Barkley is going to have a game for this to happen. I honestly see this game. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the game. I think this game is going to come down to the running backs. It's going to be Saquon Barkley versus Dalvin Cook, and whoever can get the best of the defenses. It's going to be the difference maker here. I take the home team in this one. I think Kirk Cousins does enough to get it done. They've got a little bit more explosive offensive firepower. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's always going to be there. Adam Thielen's going to have an opportunity to shine in that secondary role now. So I'm taking Minnesota at home. I say by a touchdown.
Yeah, I saw a stat that said Minnesota has won 7 games by less than a touchdown this year. They've had a lot of luck on their side. They've been able to squeak it out down the stretch on these close games. I don't know, man. I want to split just because you took Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take Minnesota.
Okay.
I want to take the Giants, and I'm going to sell you on that. I think that this low margin of points they've been winning by is going to finally catch up with them. I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a couple turnovers, and I think they're going to get it established with Saquon Barkley, and I think Daniel Jones is going to lead the rushing attack for the Giants this weekend.
Wow. And then we've got Sunday night on that game.
Mark
that one down. That's going to be good, but I'm going to try that in your whatever your daily. It's going to be easy not to be because I really don't give my Ravens a whole lot of shot going into the Giants. To me, second game in a row, back to back. Minnesota's been narrowly winning games. Lamar Jackson. I think New York's
and that like I said,
they haven't
man,
been blowing opponents out. They've been getting by.
If Lamar was playing,
to see how it shakes out.
We would have a conversation. We could dissect this game. We could go in depth. We could talk about how this team's going to win, how this team's going to win. This is going to be tough, man.
It's going to be real tough. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The way it's going to lay out, the only path that the Ravens have for victory, not turn the ball over, we talked about earlier, defense is going to have to show out.
Yeah.
and then just pound that rock.
Yeah.
Dobbins and Gus are just going to have to lead that offense and be game managers. That's the only chance they have. Unfortunately, I don't see it going that way. As big a homer as I am, I'm taking the Bengals by 13.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the Bengals are wanting to make a statement. The Bengals are hearing nothing but Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. They're looking to make their mark in this playoffs, right?
Yeah.
There's some people that are rocking with the Bengals because they've won, 8 straight games?
Mm-hmm.
But there's others that they're just talking about AFC Championship, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. We've heard that since last year.
Yeah.
So I think Burrow is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. Look for Jamar Chase to do Jamar Chase things. They have to get Mixon involved. That defense should be able to fly around. Jesse Bates back there in the last line of defense. I think he's going to have maybe a turnover or two if they decide to air the ball out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think Baltimore, like you said, they're going to put themselves in the best position if they can just pound the rock, keep Joe Burrow off the field. He can't beat you if he's not on the field.
No, they're just going to be one-dimensional. That's the problem. They're going to be forced to be one-dimensional because when you look at who their options are to throw the ball to, I bet if you were to ask a casual fan, 9 out of 10 couldn't even name 2 wide receivers on the Ravens squad. Right
I agree.
Now. So it's just going to be a rough one. And then you start talking, and we're going to get into this offseason. We got plenty of time for offseason, so we're not getting into Lamar's injury and all that stuff that's going on and what the future looks like. But a Lamar-less Ravens would have a tough time going into Cincinnati. And I just don't think it's going to happen. Listen, we won a Super Bowl at Trent Dilfer. I don't think Lightning's going to strike twice.
Yeah, this is different.
This team. So.
Defense is good with the Ravens this year, but, I mean, they have to play extraterrestrial
elite
this game. Yeah.
So that's going to fall out the way it is. And now the last game, which is probably one of the more intriguing games, is the Monday night game. We've got Dallas Cowboys heading to Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Is this the final ride for Tom Brady, Dak, and all of his woes? And you had Jerry Jones coming out and saying how consistent Dak was and that he doesn't turn the ball over. And what has he done? Thrown like 7 interceptions?
Got nothing but turn the ball over. He's
done
leading the league in
turnovers.
Yeah.
To me, listen, I will never bet against Tom Brady at home in a postseason. They're battered. They're beat up on the offensive line. You know, they're going to have to, give him a little bit of time and protection, but they've got the team on paper to do it. I think this is just going to be a typical year for the Cowboys, one and done. I think Tampa Bay takes this one home by 7.
Yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay too. Man, the Cowboys fans, the Michael Parsons talk. I mean, when some of my homies hear this podcast, they go, yes, I'm talking to you. Michael Parsons has been talking nonstop. He hated on Jalen Hurts.
Right.
He's hating on Nick Bosa. Now you hear him talking about the Buccaneers. It's like, bro, just shut up and play football.
I know.
Man.
Just get out there and prove it.
So I hope that Tom Brady finds a way to take it to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, look, Dallas Cowboys have a chance. They're one of the most talented teams offensively on paper.
Right.
That offensive line for Tampa Bay is just battered and beaten up. Tom Brady could have a long night, but I do think they're going to find a way to put it together, get Leonard Fournette involved, Rachaad White, get him involved. The passing attack, you don't even need to mention names in Tampa Bay's passing attack. I mean, they have any weapons you want to get the job done. So I think old Tom is going to keep doing Tom Brady things and keep advancing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you. So the way we got it shaken out, 49ers, Jaguars, Bills, split Giants, Vikings, Bengals, Bucks.
Yep.
If all those things happen and we start looking in the crystal ball and we go to the next week, we've got some really intriguing games. That's going to force you got the lowest seed there, so it's either going to be Chargers or Jaguars going to Kansas City to play the Kansas City Chiefs, which I think Kansas City is probably, the front runner for the AFC Super Bowl representation there. And then you're going to have a really intriguing matchup with the Bills and the Bengals. So that would be really interesting to watch that one back. Then on the flip side of the coin, so if we start looking at the way it's going to shake out on the other side of things, I think if we have the lowest ranked team in there, which I think would be Giants if they ended up sneaking in.
If the Giants end up sneaking in.
So then we go to Philly. That would be a divisional game there, and then you would be hosting Buccaneers. So we got some really good games. That would be an intriguing matchup. So based on that, kind of looking at the crystal ball, I wanted to ask you a question. I want you to give me 3 answers.
Okay.
So the question is, who would be your ideal Super Bowl matchup?
Okay.
Second question is, who do you think the NFL would want most?
Yeah.
And then who do you actually think is going to be there?
So my Super Bowl matchup of who would I want to be in the Super Bowl? I would want my 49ers. That's an easy answer.
Sure.
And I would want Cincinnati or the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
I do not want to see Patrick Mahomes again.
Well, I can't argue that.
I do not want to see Patrick Mahomes again.
Okay.
I remember Miami Super Bowl. how that ended in Hollywood, Florida, and I don't want to see that again. So, what about you? Who do you want?
If I could pick ideal pie in the sky, it's going to be, I would like to see a run back of our second Super Bowl victory. So my Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco 49ers, no lights going out. So we started with the foot on the throat in that game. Yep. I just want to squash it.
Yep, I remember.
That would be ideal for me, but that would rely on us having maybe a healthy Rashad Bateman and us having Lamar Jackson and all the pieces of the puzzle together. So realistically, not going to happen, but I would take a healthy Baltimore team against San Francisco. That would be ideal for me.
I like it.
So now, what do you think the NFL would pick?
I think the NFL definitely wants to see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl.
For sure.
And the NFC side, if you would have asked me this question 2 or 3 months ago, I would have said the Eagles.
Right.
But now, I think they want the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm looking at the Brock Purdy hype is out of control. I've never in my life seen somebody get this much hype as a rookie.
Yeah.
Or somebody that's just not done it before at all. So I'm starting to see different trends in that. Mr. Irrelevant, they're relating that to Tom Brady. They're doing the Drew Brees, the Dan Marino comparison. Right, I think they're really pushing. They want the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
I'm with you. All right, so if I take a look at it, the Bills are the obvious answer, right? You've got the whole story with DeMar Hamlin and all of the build-up on that. Josh Allen has been sort of the golden boy. I can't argue with it. Josh he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah. And
his just off-the-field personality and all that he brings to it, I can't argue that. If I were to pick a team outside of Baltimore from the AFC that I'd want to see win, it would be the Buffalo Bills because I do like Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, I was going to go San Francisco because I thought just the narrative with Brock Purdy, but listen, is this Tom Brady's last ride? They're going to want to see Josh Allen. They're going to want to see Tom Brady maybe in his last game ever, in one last chance to put a ring on.
I can see that too. So. I mean, it makes tons of sense. I mean, we don't know if he's going to end up being a Las Vegas Raider next year, if he's going to go ahead and go in the booth. And, I mean, we don't know. Now, the last one,
who's your prediction?
I think it's going to be.
What's your prediction, Super Bowl?
49ers, Buffalo Bills.
49ers, Bills.
That's it.
Can't argue it. I'm 49ers for me as well. I don't know why. I just think this is that year for them.
Yeah.
They've got the style of team to do it. They've got enough weapons on offense, but the defense is stout. The running game will keep them in every game, but then you've got the ability to go over the top.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of these teams are lacking.
And another point I'm going to say, too, is when Jimmy G was at the helm, you're puttering 20 points, 28 points. I mean, Brock Purdy has put up 30-plus points probably every game he started.
Right?
So, I mean, they're actually scoring points, and it gives me more confidence to play against a Kansas City Chief or the Buffalo Bills, these teams that can score points like that.
Hearing you say that makes me even more depressed. I'm going to throw out something. This is really random, but I was watching it. With Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens averaging over 28 points per game. Their record is 46-16.
Yeah.
And his QBR was third best of any quarterback in the NFL. Without him, they're scoring 18 points a game.
That's what I'm saying.
They've lost, however many straight. It's just, anyway, game changer. But for me, I don't know that Buffalo's going to have enough to get over the hump. I think it's going to be San Francisco, Kansas City. And if that happens, I'm pulling San Fran all day, every day.
Bro, I still have nightmares about that Super Bowl. Man.
I get it. Mahomes is GOAT-like level right now.
Let's just call it what it is.
I don't want to see him win another one.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see it. I want somebody young to get it. I would love to see. Listen, if I could pick like some randomness and have San Francisco and Jacksonville just out of nowhere, that would be amazing to me.
Yeah.
These same old guys, I can't see Joe Burrow. I'm not hating on the Bengals. Joe Burrow's ability is off the charts. His cockiness and his arrogance, I can't stand it, so I want to see him get squashed.
I get it. I mean, that's the division route. That's like me saying I can see the Seahawks going.
Listen, I'm on chat rooms, and I'm already getting blown up from people. They're talking smack. I'm like, congratulations, you're going to beat a third-string quarterback again for the second week in a row.
Hey, hold on now about the third-string quarterback.
Well, or Huntley in second string. We'll see who
plays.
No.
Well, Mr. Irrelevant, you know what I mean?
Listen, but they're not all that. Like,
I get it.
We are very specific in our design of the quarterback that we get, and you're going to get a carbon copy, just one's a little bit less talented than the other. So
I agree.
We'll see how it shakes out, but it's going to be interesting. Good takes on that. We'll come back next week. We'll wrap up. We'll see where we got it right, where we got it wrong.
Definitely have to review these, man. Give me a hot take of who do you think is going to be. Just give me a hot take, man, of who's going to be extremely successful.
Hot take for this weekend in the wild card games. All right. I think I know where your hot take's coming, which you said already, which I think is kind of good. I'm going to go home run it. I'm going to call an upset special.
Okay.
I'm going to call Baltimore Ravens beating Cincinnati and forcing Joe Burrow to throw 2 interceptions.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, people will lose it.
I'll lose it. I'll go nuts. I'll be running up and down the street. Going crazy. Now listen, do I think that's going to happen?
Yeah, that's a hot take. Yeah,
that's my hot take. We'll call it my homer hot take for the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Daniel Jones, man, 3 rushing touchdowns.
3. That's
3
big time.
3 rushing touchdowns. I'm gonna say I think Daniel Jones is definitely gonna lead that rushing attack, and it's gonna surprise people. I've seen him vulture touchdowns away from Saquon when it comes to goal line.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna lead that rushing attack this weekend.
I like it. All right, well, we'll follow up and see what happens. Appreciate you guys jumping back in with us. I know it's been a minute. We're going to be consistent with it. 2023, new year, new us. We're going to be back at it each and every week, get you some fresh content.
And peep the setup, man. I mean, is this not awesome?
The new setup.
You got pop culture. We got sports.
And we're going to get back into all that. We're going to be talking all kinds of things. So it's just not going to be football, especially off-season. Off-season is going to be a time for us to venture out into some new things. So we're looking forward to it. But thank you, as always, for listening. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week.
Peace.